My doctor recently referred me to a specialist, a gastroenterologist, in order to treat some abdominal pain I was having. My problem is that I store all of my stress in my gut. Always have. This gastroenterologist found more than one problem, found a bunch. Pretty much from my esophagus all the way down to my stern, shall we say. Among other things that he wanted me to change, or changes he wanted to make in me, he wanted to try to increase my endorphins level. Now, I'm no expert on medical science, and I don't want to be. I've tried to avoid biology since grade school. I'm not an expert, but I do have good doctors that I like, that I trust, and I think they know what they're talking about. So all I can do is tell you what they tell me. Well, one of the things that my doctor said was that only about 20% of the endorphins in our body are in our brain. And I thought they almost all were in our brain. It turns out that almost all of the other 80% are in our gut. That's what helps regulate our digestive system. So when you have low endorphins, you have digestive problems. I'm 47 years old right now, and according to what I've just been through, they tell me I've got the gut of about a mid-60s-year-old-ish person, because that's just how much damage I've done to my gut with all my stress. Well, I don't like to take medicine unless I have to, and I certainly don't like surgeries. So I got to thinking whether it was possible for me to naturally increase my endorphins levels. There's really two problems. One is generating them in the first place, the other is retaining them. I don't seem to have a problem generating them, but it's the stress that keeps me from retaining them. So I asked my doctor and talked to him about this, and he said it was a great idea, and that yes, you can do that. There are ways to naturally, of course, produce more endorphins and retain them. So, but just so you know, the old idea of pain creating endorphins, and runner's high. You run a long distance, and when you get this rush of endorphins when you're finished. Those are outdated theories, by the way. So one of the ways that to create endorphins is to do things that you enjoy. So I started making a list, and I've been working on it for a while now. I mentioned the list to my general practitioner, and he thought it was a great idea and decided he'd try to do one himself. Now, I'll tell you this, since I'm a guy, it does take me a while to work through my levels of emotions to where I get down to figuring out what's really bothering me or what the real deal is, and that's certainly the case in this instance. I had to cut through peer pressure, I had to cut through political correctness, cut through guilt, feelings of, responsibility, and trying to get down to a place of emotional equilibrium to come up with items that I enjoy, period. Nothing added, nothing taken away. So I'll share with you my list. I like to ride jet skis. My father has one, and my father-in-law has one. I love to play the drums. I have a drum set sitting in my house. I love to go dancing. I've done that since college. I love to go to the NASCAR races. That's kind of you might not think about that when being on here, or wonder why it's on here. The people that are at the NASCAR race are there for one purpose. They're there to watch the race, have a party, support their driver, and mostly importantly, talk smack about all the other drivers. When I go to NASCAR races, there's not anybody there that needs anything from me, wants anything from me, I have to give anything to, nor them to me. We're just all there for the common purpose of enjoying NASCAR. That to me is just really, really enjoyable, very relaxing. I love to shoot hoops. Done that for a long time. After I put that on the list and remembered that I like to do that, it had been so many years since I'd shot hoops. I started going to the gym and shooting, and worked out so hard one day that I've torn my rotator cuff now. So, I love to cycle. I love to go cycling, long distance, 30 miles to 60 miles, 14.5 to 17.5 miles average over the whole distance. I like to cook. Just something about the food. I learned to cook a lot between my marriages. I love to listen to live music, especially jazz. Very much enjoy listening to jazz music in a jazz club, in a nightclub. And here's where I really had to work through some things to get these things on the list. I love to go to art exhibits. I love to go to plays, and I love to go to musicals. And so again, once I got those on the list and reminded myself of how much I like those, I've been able to start going back to them and doing some of that stuff again. I love to work jigsaw puzzles. My mom used to set up a jigsaw puzzle between Christmas and New Year's every year, and we'd sit in there and work on it. Different of us would work on it from time to time, and about a 2,000, 2,500 piece puzzle. So I did one of those this last Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's this last year, for the first time in a long, long, long time. I like wood fires. I like to hear that wood crackling. I like to smell the wood as it burns. I like to hunt. I like to fish. I like to shoot pool. I've got a pool table sitting in my house, but over the last many years, it's probably collected more dust than it has memories of decent shots. So I've got that. Been getting back into that. When I look back over that list, I see things that require some planning, a little bit of work, maybe some cleanup afterwards. And what I've gotten in the habit of doing is whenever I have an opportunity to do some of those things, I'll instead of looking at the positives of it and the enjoyment that I'd get out of it, I look at the downside of it and the work that's involved, and I go, nah, I've done that enough. I'll do it some other time, and I just pass up the opportunity. And so, and that's happened more and more the older I've gotten, it seems like. I just don't want to put in the effort. So I've had to recalibrate my thinking, get back into making an effort to do it. So what's on your list? What do you enjoy? My suggestion is for your long-term health, for the health of your gut, make your own endorphins list and start creating more of your own endorphins naturally.